Welcome back to the show, everybody. Wave bye-bye to the petrodollar agreement. It's gone. We've got that and so much more. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show. You can follow us on X, YouTube, and DigPerspectives.com for exclusive content. Right now, $4.11 trillion market cap for crypto. The market's up 0.5%. Bitcoin 115,400 plus, Ethereum 4,500 plus, XRP $3.03. Now you're up 1.3 on the 24. We're up 1% on the 7-day here. Let's take a look at the range of price, ranging between 297 and 304. So we're at the top side, even though the range is tightening, right? But we will keep an eye on it as we move through the day. Let's take a look at this right here. It's iTrustCapital, ladies and gentlemen. And listen, they have the best crypto, gold, and silver IRAs on the planet. And you should try them if you haven't. And if you have, you already know that I'm telling you the truth. Listen, I've been with them like 6 years. I absolutely love it. And now they've come out with the PCA, the Premium Custody Account, which I really wish they'd called a vault, to be perfectly honest, because it is like a vault. You get the same institutional grade custody that you get with your IRA. Why wouldn't you want this? Then they go a step further. They realize there's so many attacks happening out here in this space. They wanted to create an account for an everyday user, long-term holder, to not have to worry about everything about from attacks to SIM swaps. Did I click on a link that I shouldn't have? Did I take a call and give away critical information? Because this is what they've done. The closed loop system allows you to go in with your cash and crypto, trade all the assets, over 80 assets, 24/7, whenever you want. But when you come out of the account, it has to come out as cash, and it can only come out to your US checking account. Now, that's different because if you were to be hacked on a general exchange, that crypto could be taken by a bad actor and just move wherever and you never see it again. That's a horrible, horrible thought. So if you want to remove that thought from your mind and start getting peace of mind in this space, itrustcapital.com/XRP Army is the way to do it. Use the code at the bottom of the screen, XRP6, and start getting the best night's sleep you've had since you've been in crypto. That's how I do it. Now, let's take a look at this here. Cointelegraph. The SEC and Gemini Trust reach an agreement over crypto lending dispute involving Gemini Earn product nearly 3 years after the initial complaint was filed. It's a new day for crypto, ladies and gentlemen. It's a nice reminder that Biden and Gary Gensler's regime is gone. Then we see this out of Thailand, now offering zero capital gains tax on Bitcoin traded on national exchanges. Global game theory at work is beautiful. Yes, it is. And it reminds me of no tax on U.S. domiciled assets. We'll wait and see what happens here in the U.S. But I believe if the U.S. can basically start to push the Fed out, which I believe is what they're doing currently, and then move us to a fair use tax, we may see no cap gains on U.S. domiciled assets. We'll see. And here, oh boy, I just, yesterday we covered all the drama with Tether and the reason why Tether has to have a brand new stable coin to release it in the United States because USDT can't cut it. And here's one of the main reasons why. Israel seized 187 crypto wallets linked to terrorist nation Iran that reportedly moved $1.5 billion in USDT. And here you see why we are now looking at a brand new stable coin that is, in fact, exactly like Ratha Common has said here. It is a confession, ladies and gentlemen. It is an admission and a confession that we have never been up to snuff with USDT, as we have called for years and years and years. And people have always said we don't have it. Well, we do have it. And this is why they're creating this, because it's easier to create a brand new stable coin than to get the one USDT compliant. That's the truth. Oh boy. And here's more attacks here. Oh, just listen to this.
Being able to bring this really popular use case that is stablecoins into the Lightning network, because across the entire crypto ecosystem, Lightning is the fastest and cheapest way of transacting. Like, period. It's faster than Tron.
Altcoiners are gonna lose their minds.
I know. And look, we had the we did
music to my ears.
Yeah.
Just by the way, I don't know if I could like hearing that more.
I hear the XRP retard army starting their battle drums.
Yeah. Being able.
It's funny, they always attack us, the XRP army, while we work. When will we see the industry leader call out these maxi children? That's my question. When we going to see everybody call out the Robert Breedloves of the world, who's a moron, essentially, right? He doesn't understand. I'm surprised he can even operate a YouTube channel. The reality here is that Ripple announces $25 million commitment in real USD to support America's small businesses and veteran career programs. That's what's going on with real USD and Ripple. Ripple is always a cut above, while we listen to the children sit and call us all retards. I, for one, have an autistic grandson, Robert Breedlove, and I don't appreciate the use of it, right? So the reality is that while we're watching Ripple work in a real professional, classy fashion, this is what Bitcoin crowd is made of right here, right? Yeah, that's what the truth is. And then you have a Bitcoin purist, Jack Dorsey, talking about how Bitcoin will eliminate Visa, MasterCard, and big banks. Just
all you have to do is look at the first page of the white paper, which I encourage everyone to do, which is it only sought out to solve one problem, which is verifying that there's no double spending. You're not spending twice without having to rely upon a third party. Like, it literally is just, how do we transmit money without having to rely on a Visa or MasterCard or a bank to tell us that this was not a double transaction? That was it. That was the innovation. And the title of the white paper is Electronic Peer-to-Peer Cash. Like, that was the dream. That was the intention.
That's right.
It was supposed to be a way to transmit money, protocol for the internet to transmit money anywhere without a Visa or MasterCard or a bank or any gatekeeper whatsoever.
He's absolutely right. And you know what? I have respect for Jack Dorsey, and I've taken issue with him on things before online, and he's addressed it. But I respect him going for the purest vision here. And it's because he understands that we have to have utility with Bitcoin or it's going to be in trouble. And he doesn't hide that fact. And I do appreciate that from him. What I would say here is we need more people to be less like Robert Breedlove, name calling, right? Calling us all retards when he's actually the idiot in this situation. And I would handle that with him face to face if he wants to talk about it. But I mean, he's going to need some flashcards or something because he's going to get buried so quick it'll make his head spin. But the reality here is what Jack Dorsey's pointing out is, I once moved 60,000, and this was me saying this to back up Jack's point here. If they don't get payments figured out, it's going to be a problem for Bitcoin. I once moved a $60,000 Bitcoin from one exchange to another, and I was charged over $4,000 to do it. Just to move it from one exchange to another. Think of that for a moment. I hope they get that part figured out quickly because it doesn't feel like the future of money movement. You don't need permission to use XRP, and it costs right around 400 thousandths of a penny or whatever it is to do it. So that's the difference until now. And I do want to see Bitcoin get liquidity. I have exposure to it. And then we have here a great question from Paul Barron. Breaking: PayPal is introducing new peer-to-peer payment systems. Crypto will soon be directly integrated into PayPal's new P2P payment flow in the app. And he asked the question, will you sell your Bitcoin to buy a new t-shirt and then pay cap gains on it? I think it's a valid question. I think of it for a moment. That's where we have to have the taxes figured out in this equation here, because that tax situation and tax implication will really inform everyone on whether you're going to be buying shirts and clothes and everything else with your Bitcoin or not. And meanwhile, we know Gemini released their credit card, and you're seeing it being used in this video clip here, and a Gemini credit card with XRP as your cash back. Now that is a real product happening right now. And then a reminder here from Standard Charter, Ripple partner, SC Ventures plans to raise $250 million for digital assets fund focused on fintech investments, targeting launch next year. I like it. And then this is a reminder of how Standard Chartered used XRP.
You know, we have countries like Switzerland and China all testing out the digital currencies. How are you gearing up for the disruption of money with central bank digital currencies? How will it change the way you and other banks operate in future?
Probably fundamentally. While we're not formally involved, no foreign banks are involved in the Chinese ECNY. I think we're as close to that as we can be to understand how that digital currency can be used for cross-border trade. Going back 5 years, we had digital currency underpinned trade finance and money settlement systems, and using as a medium of exchange, using things like Ripple's XRP, for example, as a medium to affect real-time cross-border payments.
You know, we have countries like Switzerland and China.
Well, there you
all
have
testing
it
out
right there, don't you? There he said it. That'll be interesting to see what these funds are. And it'll be interesting to see if XRP is helping settle it all, right? So this will be interesting to watch. This is a reminder, we covered Thumes last week, which is a Ripple partner out of Singapore, catering to over 130 countries and tens of millions of mobile app users. Well, they've expanded real-time payments into Saudi Arabia now. It just keeps getting bigger. Shout out to Mike Manfield for this one. Let's keep this moving, because what we're talking about here is the difference between the speculation and the utility. Now listen to Quincy Jones.
So anybody out there that's telling you they'll know where the price of XRP will go has no idea. Zero, absolutely zero clue. But I'll give you a tiny hint of an idea of what could happen. So XRP is it's a financial instrument of value. And that instrument is basically, the instrument's really liquidity between different other instruments like bonds, stocks, currencies, all the everything basically. Yeah. And the XRP is only worth the value of the things that are issued on it, because it would cost XRP to buy those things on the network and use that liquidity. Mm-hmm. So what ends up happening here is not only do you have to issue all of the equity, but you've also got to issue all of the debt. So XRP is only bound by the fiscal responsibility of the people that issue assets on it, which is obviously irresponsible. So XRP could be at $100, $100,000, $1 million. It depends on how many assets you want to issue onto the network. So if you wanted to issue, $100 trillion worth of equity, cool. That's a lot of money on the network. What happens if they want to issue another $500 million worth of debt? That also adds value to the network. So there really is a mind-blowing amount of wealth, essentially, that could basically be flowing through these networks that we can't even comprehend because of that debt question of being able to issue more and more and more value in the form of.
That's exactly right. Shout out to Quincy. He's so brilliant. And then here we see a quick conversation with Raoul Pal about the U.S. and EU debt and the role of stablecoins, ladies and gentlemen. And this will all come into play here in a second, because we know that, first of all, they are already tokenizing the U.S. debt, which is bonds, onto the XRP ledger through Ondo Finance and BlackRock. Now, listen to this clip about stablecoins. It all goes hand in hand, because remember, what makes the private issuers of stablecoins so special? They have to hold bonds, which is the U.S. debt.
I'm sure you've got an opinion about it as well. It's about the role of stablecoin and how this gives a conduit to the Treasury and Besant to actually do a lot more funding. I mean, this could be big, and I think it's, if you start to look at how stablecoins operate, typically. I mean, you could make a case, and in fact, I've sort of argued negatively in one regard to say that a big growth in stablecoin could actually dent bank credit significantly, because actually a stablecoin is a lot more, or a stablecoin issuer is a lot more constrained than a bank, and if a lot of funds move from banks into stablecoins, you're not going to get credit growth, which is clearly a possibility. But then you've got to think about it from the other side, is that actually it's a wonderful source of credit for the Treasury. And so this is what you're going to get, is much more public sector led credit growth via the stablecoin conduit. And it's really an opportunity, in no other words, for governments to print money.
What's interesting is those of us who have been around a long time, we grew up with the Eurodollar market. The Eurodollar market was the wholesale funding markets of the dollar, but that stopped at like the big Japanese banks, the European banks and stuff like that. And then you had to get access to it, and it was restricted down to others. It was hard to get hold of dollars outside of that, but that was the big dollar funding market.
Very quickly, for those that don't know, the euro dollar market is a US dollar market over in Europe, not the euro dollar. Just so in case you don't know that, it can be confusing for people. Keep listening.
What stablecoins essentially is a fractionalized eurodollar market down to individual level.
Bingo.
So it means you can be in any country in the world and get access to dollars.
Bingo.
Which is an extraordinary thing. And so what you're doing is spreading the dollar and the issuance of bonds and the holding of bonds down to individuals all around the globe.
So what they're really doing, just like what he just said, is they are decentralizing the euro dollar market. Just like we saw the taxi cab industry decentralized, just like we saw the music industry decentralized. We're seeing the euro dollar market be decentralized, right? We're seeing, more importantly, the great stablecoin agreement is the new Petrodollar agreement, securing U.S. dollar dominance as a global reserve currency for the world. Don't believe it is still true? And here, the Treasury Secretary says here, Scott Bessent is betting that crypto industry will become a crucial buyer of treasuries in coming years as Washington seeks to shore up demand for deluge of new U.S. government debt. Remember, in the last 4 weeks, they bought $10 billion worth of their own bonds back. Ladies and gentlemen, the new Petrodollar agreement is the great stablecoin agreement. Don't believe it. It's still true. Replacing the petrodollar agreement system. This is exactly what we've been talking about. This is the CEO from Stripe right here, Patrick Collison. I want you to listen to what he says. It's very important.
To break free from authoritarian governments or deflationary national currencies.
Thanks for the question. We see many examples of this. I think of the comparison to the petrodollar system, where starting back in the 70s, the series of agreements with Gulf states created an enormous new source of secular demand for dollars. We're seeing the same thing happening today in emerging markets, where people are taking enthusiastic advantage of this new liberty and this new capability, where they can hold dollars and they can, again, get direct access to the world's preeminent reserve currency. I think this is a really big deal for global liberty and for global prosperity.
There you have it. That's where we are today. And here's where we are on the charts. XRP will definitely have its time, says Galaxy Bitcoin. Similarities between now and cycle 2017 to 2018 are hard to ignore, and you better believe it, they are. Here's the moment of consolidation, and here we are with that moment of consolidation. If we get another 2 legs up, how cool would that be? And we could either be here or we could be here. I don't care as long as we go up from where we are. That's where, and I know you feel the same. Look, it's not financial advice from me or anyone else. We're going into the freedom zone, ladies and gentlemen. And today I'm going to share something with you where researcher Barron of Beach Street has found some information that may tell us all who the elusive Kendra Hill actually is. I hope you'll join us. Click the link underneath to join us at Patreon, YouTube, or on X. All the same prices, all the same perks, cost almost nothing to join. And it's a great way to support the channel. You get all your daily videos with 0 Google ads. And that itself worth the price of admission. We'll catch you inside. Come on in.